I did end up doing a once a month grocery haul, but it's much smaller this month because of Christmas, and I don't want to go over budget, so I made a smaller order at Azure and a smaller order at Costco, and then I will go weekly with the remainder of my money just so I know I can stay in budget. But I also thought I would share 5 products that I buy from Azure to help our nutritional value in winter. I bought most of these last and I repurchased them this year. But with all of the recalls and stuff, I had to reframe my mind about what nutrition means, and maybe buying produce less from the grocery store is not necessarily a bad thing when you have some of these other things to help make sure that you're having nutrition. And I'm gonna start with the first, and it's a non-food item, but from Azure, it's sitting actually right behind my camera, is this. It is called the Butter Keeper from Azure Standard. And I normally buy Mother's Choice butter from Azure, and one of the half sticks fits perfectly in here. And I can't always keep butter on the counter during summer, but in the winter, this is what I like to do. We do a lot of toasts and things, and as a large family, it's a mess to always have softened butter, and I don't actually prefer to use my microwave, so I use the Butter Keeper. In my fridge, I keep this. This is only a couple of dollars actually, and it is a ginger lemon squeeze, and they come in these bottles, and I actually bought 2 of them, and they are great. You can make your own immune boost shots, but you can also add that ginger lemon flavor to Chinese food when you make it at home. You can add it to water, just regular water. Okay, the next couple are in my spice cabinet, and the first one is this mushroom powder. Not all of my children and family like mushrooms, but I do add this, and it adds an earthy flavor. And mushrooms are actually super good for you. So I add this to soups, I add it to sloppy joes, I add it to all kinds of things that amps the flavor, amps the nutrition. Another one found in my spice jar is beetroot powder. So this makes you put a little bit of this when you make homemade whipped cream, and it turns it into a pink. You can add it to frosting. You can put a little bit in your smoothies, but beetroot and red vegetables are really good for your heart, so it's a good one to have. Next thing has to do with baking, and that is lemon peel. There's nothing like getting some blueberries from the freezer that you packed up and having some fresh lemon with it. There are granules, but you can throw it in the blender and make it into a powder along with some lemon extract, and then have a fresh summer flavor in the middle of winter. We go through a lot of butter anyway, but with baking, I turn to coconut oil as a butter substitute, and it makes everything nice and moist, and it's not too much of a coconut flavor, I don't ever find. It also saves us money doing it this way, because this thing is cheaper than butter, and Azure has the best price. I used to get my coconut oil at Costco, but Azure's price is definitely better. So I keep a couple of these on hand for all of our baking. I was just about out of butter, and all of the butters, the Rumiano and the Mother's Choice, both said that they were not going to come. So I was limited on my choices. So I bought this one. Don't really super love it. And I also noticed that they're only 8-ounce boxes instead of 16. So I'm glad to have butter, but hopefully I'll be buying 2 boxes of my favorite butter next time. These allergen-free white chocolate chips mini size were in the bargain bin, and I picked them up. I'll throw some in the freezer, but we love them in granola bars and stuff because they're just easier to mix up, and of course cookies and all those things. Mozzarella cheese, because pizza is kind of standard in ours as a quick lunch or during the week. And I liked this Monterey Jack. As long as it can fit in the budget, we'll continue to get this. I made mac and cheese. It was great. Paninis are great. And then I bought 2 apple pie spices and 2 pumpkin pie spices to have a backup in my storage. And then I just told you about these. We'll be definitely using those. I probably could pick up a couple more. Ginger, I will chop this into cubes and it will go in the freezer. I can zest it in my zester for fresh tea, or I pop a cube or so into each batch of broth. And then I got molasses because we have been adding a lot of molasses to our cookies and baking, and Costco. Again, I was cutting it really close with my Azure order. So I took it off my Azure order and just picked it up at Costco because I knew that I could get it at Costco. But again, I'm behind on a couple things in my rotation, so I need to get stocked back up. And then 2 things of sugar for baking again. The chicken nuggets, we like to make chicken wraps with those. My coffee was almost gone. There was like maybe a dozen packages left, so I went and bought 3 just to make sure I have enough until it comes back. And then honey roasted nut mix, that was a fun treat for the kids. And then I do like to get, the honey nuts was kind of like a holiday thing. And then I do like to get a treat, and I bought these Danish puff pastries and they were delicious. But it's a fun treat and I like it when it's from an authentic different country. Vanilla again for baking, maple syrup for pancakes and baking. Greek yogurt we like to use as a sour cream replacement. And I also made some protein bagels with that this week. And I bought cheese because I was getting low. Ham, I always buy ham, and sometimes I buy the turkey, and I go ahead and shred it myself or cube it up. It's cheaper than buying deli meat at the grocery store. I always like to have nuts on hand as a quick snack or trail mix, or, to round out a meal if we need to. Craisins were on sale, so I grabbed another bag of them. And then chips for nachos, and then these chickpea puffs, half of us like them, half of us don't, but it's a nice change from an actual chip. And then I picked up some LaCroix that was on sale also. And like I mentioned, I'll be going to the local grocery store week by week this month just to make sure I can stay in budget, especially with unexpected expenses around the holidays, and then January, I think, will be a low spend month for us, and kind of eating out of the pantry and the meat from the freezers and all those winter soups and things that I don't necessarily need a lot of fresh produce for. Thanks for watching.